Hi there, and welcome to your first shift with the Night Watch. You all ready? Excellent. 1 second. New rookie has arrived. Over.
Copy that, thanks.
Fantastic. Shan't be needing that again. So, all ready for an exciting night ahead? Well, hopefully not too exciting. There are various creatures and monsters lurking around, but hopefully not the one that we are after. What I've done for you is got you a notebook for you to record all of your observations in, everything you see and hear and experience this evening. And what I've done is, helpfully, I put a list of rules in the front for you, but we'll go over those in a moment. Here's what you need to know about tonight. As we encounter the various creatures and monsters, we're going to leave them alone and hope that they leave us alone. May seem a bit of a counterintuitive thing to do. However, as I said, it's not what we're looking for. If the creature that we are looking for this evening does happen to make an appearance, you do not need to worry. I will tell you what needs to be done. Okay. There's an outside possibility that we might see it. I mean, that's why we're here in the forest after all. There have been various little interlopers into the nearby villages, which is very unusual. But we'll see as we go. What we'll do now is I will show you what to do when we encounter these different creatures. And then you'll be fully prepared. But first, rules and regulations. Okay? Rule number 1. Always remember this one. Don't run. If you run, it will be seen as a hunt. And there's very little I can do in those circumstances, okay? Rule number 2. Don't whistle. You might find it gets very quiet out here, although there are plenty of colleagues here tonight. You might find it's a little lonely sometimes, and certainly the mist and the fog does not help. However, one of the creatures you might encounter makes themselves known by whistling. So as a rule, if we hear any whistling, we know what's happening. Okay? Good. Rule number 3. No scratching. For 2 reasons. Firstly, another one of the creatures we may encounter scratches trees and bark close by in order to announce itself. But also, just from a slightly darker perspective, sometimes a scratch of the skin might indicate to some of the creatures who live in the forest that you'd like to exchange skin, so best not to do that, just as a safety precaution. Number 4, everything that goes in here goes in there at dawn. It is the night shift. You are on night watch. However, you do need to keep your wits about you. It makes it easier for any of the creatures if you're busy scribbling in your notebook. One of the more notable creatures in this forest is well known for its stalking capabilities, so be careful. Number 5, if you cross a path twice, it's good manners to leave an offering. We have all sorts of food, back at the hut. It's just common courtesy to the creatures that live here. Number 6, not all shadows belong to the trees. That one is very, very important. If you think there are too many shadows, then there are. And you might need to investigate what else is there. Keep your wits about you. Number 7, do not befriend anything. Some of these creatures are very interesting. Not like us at all. And yes, we have been known to hunt them and capture them when they're being particularly troublesome. But most people don't ever get the opportunity to see one up close. Now is not the time to be overly interested, other than to log what we have seen and where. Okay? Number 8, walk as if you are expected. If you start walking through this forest as if you are worried or scared, it might not end well for you. Walk with confidence. Heard of fake it till you make it? Yeah, for tonight for sure. That's what you need to do. And finally, number 9, before I hand this over to you. It is okay to acknowledge the presence of these creatures. If you come face to face with one, a nod will absolutely be okay. However, for some we then need to be very careful in ignoring them so that they pass us by. So, take this is yours. I would suggest you put it in your backpack, somewhere like that. And then get out your torch. You will need your torch handy. Super. You've got your walkie-talkie. I've got my torch handy for if we need anything. I also have weapons, should they be necessary, but I'm hoping, as I say, we won't need that this evening. So we'll move on quickly to a few things you might need to do if we encounter any creatures, and the likelihood is quite high this evening. First thing we need to practice is slowing down your blinking, as if we're pretending we're not here or we're simply not worth the attention. So begin for me by blinking, but a little more slowly than perhaps you would normally. The other thing you can do is use these slow blinks to change where you're looking, to just make the motion a little smoother perhaps. If it makes you too sleepy, you might need to stop. However, nice, slow blinking. While we're doing that, holding your breath briefly as well. Let's try it. So, as you close those eyes, breathe in, hold it, and exhale. And again. One more time. Well done. We're stood here doing nothing. We're of no interest to any creatures in the forest. This is especially important if you hear whistling. If you hear whistling, stop what you are doing. Slow blinking, slow breathing, very little movement, okay? Off to a good start. You can blink, you can breathe, fantastic. Next, however, instead of blinking, we're going to just shift the focus of our eyes. So we're not really looking at anything. And while we do that, we're going to simply touch the areas of our face. What we're doing here is we're showing we're simply not interested or worried in anything that's going on around us. Okay? Great, so just begin by looking away from me, perhaps. It can sometimes take a moment to unfocus. Then touch your forehead, touch your cheeks, touch your ears, touch your nose, touch your mouth, touch your chin. In any way you would like. Quite relaxing, huh? If you hear lots of subtle snapping of twigs, rustling of leaves, more so than normal, every chance we're being stalked, and we have to act simply like we're not interested. Some of these creatures act like small children. If there's no sport to be had, what's the point? So, we're very good at blinking, at breathing, unfocusing our eyes, touching our faces, things like that. Next, I spoke to you about a creature that announces its presence by scratching on the nearby bark, the floor, things like that. What we need to do with this creature is draw it away. This is where your torch will come in very handy. What you need to do is shine it elsewhere. Give it something to look at. As you're doing that, slowly bend down. Pick up some stones from the floor. What we're going to do is throw them. Ready? You should find it heads over that way. Okay? Great. And the final one. Ready? Go. There you go. Passed on by. You okay? The The first encounter can always be a little scary, but as I say, often they're not interested in us. Did manage to take a look, didn't appear to be in a big hurry, wasn't running from or towards anything. It's a good sign. If you'd like to make a note in your journal later, that's absolutely fine. So where was I? Ah yes, the final creature that we've heard of in this forest. You'll hear it approaching with footsteps. And that can be quite tricky because we all make our own footsteps. However, these sound a little larger and a little louder. And all we need to do is make footstep sounds like so. These creatures enjoy a beat and will walk to it. We'll do 10 to begin with. We'll pause to see if it carries on its way. If it's particularly interested, we might alter them. Want to try? Okay, so 10 clicks together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And then alternate. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you hear it? Keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a funny feeling we summoned that one. I apologise. I think in me showing you what you needed to do, I attracted it with the sounds that it enjoys. So I'm sorry about that. However, that's something to log in your journal, but also I hope you're starting to understand now that these creatures really aren't that interested that we are here. There's a little bit of interest in kind of what's going on, but certainly there's no urge to attack currently, anything like that. It's all good, which means we should hopefully be in for a quiet night. Or are we? Do you feel like we're being stalked? That took a little longer. Well done for remembering, and well done for not giving in to that urge to, well, run, I suppose. Very odd. As I say, though, something to do with your journal. Nothing to worry about, really. I'm still anticipating a quiet night. No problems, I don't think. We're all good. What do you hear? I think you're right. I want to get some stuff. Supposed to get stuff. Okay. You throw yours that way. I'll throw mine that way. 3, 2, 1. How far away? Okay, so maybe not such a quiet night after all. However, it's still, I think, reasonably quiet. Not entirely certain we're going to have any problems. In fact, it's really quiet. Like everything just stopped. I can't hear anything. Can you hear anything? I think probably. Stay really still for me. Run.